Hey guys, it's Victor, Gimmeabreakman, Gimmeaflakeman, sporting my new Hawaiian shirt. It's actually my dad's shirt. It's a pretty nice shirt though, I think. I like to button this up just to be like a formal, but it seems kind of to break, you know, what's the point of having a formal Hawaiian shirt? You know, but I mean, it's funny if I button this up like this, and it looks quite a bit, quite nice. Did I do it correctly? Oh, I didn't do it. Okay. You know, little buttons are hard. You know, I almost broke my my right hand. I'm having trouble with it because I almost broke it. I fell off my bicycle a couple weeks back, and I'm having trouble. Actually, I'm having more trouble with the left hand. Well, forget it. Okay, anyway. So there you go. This is a laundry video, so let me start with that to explain this to the new people who are watching this. This means I'm just gonna blah 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 blah. Train of thought, long ass video. As I finish up a strong zero. And today, as you can tell by the topic, we're going to talk about Louis C.K. I'm a little bit late on this, but that's okay. I know it's against like the YouTube rules of how to get tons of views because, well, because I should have done this like 3 days ago when he first came back, but I was busy. I went to Tokyo, as you guys may know. Those of you who follow the channel, we had a big YouTube party that Hiko Simon and I host every year. Let me remind you, this is a laundry video, so you have enough time to do your laundry. That's the point. Okay? And today, by the way, I've chosen today is the day after the huge hurricane, the largest hurricane to hit Japan in 25 years. Jebi is her name, his name. And in Japan, they do not use names for earth. Did I say earthquake? I mean hurricane. Typhoon. I meant typhoon. Well, okay, let's back up. Rewind. So, yesterday, the largest typhoon in 25 years hit Japan. And in Japanese, that typhoon's name is number 21. Juichigo. And in English, you would call her Jebi. If you look it up, J-E-B-I. No, it is not Jeb Bush's relation or anything. It's just the hurricane's name. But anyway, it was the largest hurricane. I'm saying it right? Hurricane, typhoon in Japan in 25 years. And a lot of I'm in a park right now, and you don't really see a lot of it, but you can see a little bit of the results of it. And I'll just show you a little bit real quick, just to show you. Some broken branches around here, and other parts of the park are much worse. You can see a lot worse. But actually, the reason I have chosen this location today is just because I love this little pond. It was overgrown with green algae, which I'm pretty sure means that the all the oxygen has been sucked out of the lake. No. There are actually a lot of frogs and stuff in here, so I guess it's okay. Anyway, it's a really nice place to just sit. Today is Wednesday. It's about 1:25, and that's enough background. Who cares, right? A lot of you came, clicked on this video because you're interested in the topic, so let's get to that. Louis C.K., I think I've got some actual pretty interesting opinions to say about this. So, and you may not like some of that, but that's okay. Too bad. And as usual, as I usually do on my... Oh, by the way, I have no classes today, so... I'm a teacher, but I have no classes today. So I'm having another one. This is a summer-only strong zero. It says Genke there. Gente, sorry. Genke. Gente means limited time only. So this is the apple flavor, which is actually pretty good. They've got a grape flavor, which is good too, but it's a little bit too sweet. This one is pretty sweet too, but tolerably sweet for me. I'm sure some of you wouldn't like it. Some of you would love it though. Strong zeros are 9% alcohol, so that you can kind of predict the rest of this video that way. Okay, so where do I even start? Bill Cosby, Tiger Woods, Louis C.K. Where to go back? Matt Lauer. As you all probably know by now, unless you've been living in under a rock in the entertainment world, Louis C.K. came back to the stage suddenly at the Comedy Cellar, unannounced a few days ago. And there are various reports that you may have seen on regarding his receptions. One of those was he got a standing ovation. That report, however, comes from the owner who was sleeping at the time and was not there at the time, so we don't know if that's really true or not. I would say we can doubt that. A lot of people are probably shocked. Probably some people clapped. Probably some people say, hey, we missed you, Louis. And there were probably some people who were like, what? Louis C.K. is back? You know, which is fine. Anyway, the question is, you know, did he come back too soon? What do you guys think about that? That's the question. And it's something I've been thinking about, because until he came back, I gotta tell you honestly, I want to tell you my bias honestly, I thought Louis C.K. was basically a genius, a modern genius. My little sister, who I respect very much and is very intelligent and has a very intelligent job to boot, would send me video clips occasionally saying things like Louis C.K. is masquerading as a stand-up comedian when he's actually a philosopher. And you can look these up. There are talks that he gives, not talks, there are, well, interviews, I suppose is the best word, interviews that he has given on the Conan show or other late night talk shows, in which he talks about things ranging from, well, I mean, he's talked about everything, but one of the things that I thought was most interesting, that really caught my eye, that made me think, yeah, maybe this guy's really a genius, were his views on cell phone usage with children. Now I have 2 children, and I teach lots of, mostly adults, but I do have the occasional high school child, high schooler. And they talk about how he thinks that it's really rude to hold your cell phone at the table, and that when you're holding your cell phone, you have it with you, it's on. You're telling that child how much that person's opinion means to you by the fact that you're still holding your cell phone, and now it's much better to not do it. Anyway, it's I could go into the minutia of that particular video, but the point is, I was impressed. And if you really look at his videos, he has a lot of common sense. Now, he has a lot of disgusting and funny and bizarre and controversial videos as well. Another well-known, one of my other favorite Louis C.K. bits is his opinion on the N-word, in which he says, I hate the fact that people say the N-word, because then it makes you imagine the N-word in your head, because you know exactly what, when someone says the N-word, you know exactly what they're referring to. So he thinks that it's ridiculous to say the N-word. You should just say N-I-G-G-E-R. I won't say it because some of you get all crazy when I say it, even though I'm not using it against somebody. And there is a big difference. If I say you are an N-word, that's completely different from just saying, hey, don't say the N-word, which is basically my stance. Don't say the N-word. Anyway, his opinions on the N-word are very interesting. So also Google. Oh, you know, I'll put these in the description if I remember. N-word, Louis C.K. Put that into your Google search engine. I'm sure you will find the video. That's another very good video. The other video that I remember, well, of course, his TV show, Striking, a very, very good show. His initial sitcom sucked, but was still watchable. Still watchable for its cringiness. And I guess that should have been a takeaway. Anyway, let's get to the meat of the video. Because there's so many things I could say about this, but suffice to say, my point here, before I push this on, before we go forward, is simply, I'm a big Louis C.K. fan. I've seen a lot of his stuff. I don't think I bought any of his DVDs, but I remember thinking, yeah, maybe I should buy it, or should I wait for Netflix? Whatever. I think he's a very good comedian, and he's put in a lot of work, and he's worked hard his whole life to become a good comedian. Maybe the fact that he's about the same age I am, maybe that has affected my judgment. As all, you know, we like to kind of identify with people who are the same sex, same age group, things like that. Same ethnic type. He's also kind of half Mexican. I'm only half Mexican because you guys think I'm Mexican. I'm not actually Mexican. Anyway, let's go on. Here's where it gets interesting. So, as you all know, the big controversy started last year, about a year ago, when women in the comedy industry, other comedians, female comedians, I guess the word is comedian, is that right? Said, well, you know, I was hanging out with Louis C.K. and suddenly he said, hey, can I masturbate in front of you? Would you mind? And then when I said go ahead, he took out his penis and started masturbating. And a few women said this. I believe 5 in total have come out publicly. Some maybe anonymously. and have said, yes, this is true. And even before that, it had been posted online that this was happening, and he had denied it. Anyway, after the Me Too movement started, and it came out, he came out and said, yes, it's true. Now, he didn't say, I'm sorry. He didn't apologize for it. He just said, yes, it's true. And then he said, I've talked a lot in my life. I'm going to sit back now and just listen. So that's what he did. He just started listening. Just listening. And then I guess he listened for 8 months, and I guess he thought that was enough, because then he came back and he did a stand-up show at the Comedy Cellar. I know they're not calling me yet. I turn around. Okay, that crow's calling me. Excuse me. Anyway, the big controversy, of course, is whether he did something. Well, there's a few things. Did he do anything wrong? His initial statement said, well, you know, I thought it was okay because I asked people's permission, which is a kind of common sense thing to state. If I asked you all on YouTube, hey guys, do you mind if I right in front of you right now? And I'll wait for the comments, and it's a live show, and if like most people say go ahead, then, and you know, probably most people say go ahead, then I'd probably whip it out and do it, right? But of course, if I was so inclined, I'm not actually interested in that. However, in Louis C.K.'s situation, he occupies a position of power and influence, and a lot of the arguments against what he did were simply that women felt that if I didn't say okay, my reputation or my future as a comedian would be hurt, which I kind of felt like was silly or bullshit, or I didn't quite agree with or understand. But of course, I'm not a female comedian in that world, so there's also that argument. But David Chappelle made a very, very astute, I think, observation in one of his comedy bits afterwards. He said, if your dreams of becoming a comedian were crushed by the fact that some guy masturbated in front of you, then you have a very fragile ego. That is a bitter. Was it ego? Ego, I believe.
One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me ruined my comedy dreams. Word? Well, then I dare say, madam, you may have never had a dream. Come on, man, that's a brittle spirit.
And it's true. If you really want to be a goddamn comedian, then don't fucking blame it on Louis C.K. that you didn't do it because he masturbated in front of you after you said yes. You should have said no, and you should have, I don't know, controlled the situation a little bit better. You should have been a stronger person. But that sounds like victim blaming. I'm sure it does. Anyway, so Louis C. came back and he made one appearance. He's probably appeared a couple other places. People are theorizing that, or what's a conspirizing? Is that ever? People are thinking, well, he's probably appeared in other places, and yeah, probably has. But you know what? Whatever, it doesn't matter. The question is, what do you have to do before you come back? People wrote things like, well, he hasn't suffered enough. Well, what do you want him to do? I mean, what really? He had a movie that was made that never saw the light of day because of this. He had a movie completed right before the scandal broke, and Netflix decided not to release it. I think it was Netflix. Pretty sure. Anyway, whatever company was behind that, they decided to just fucking eat it, which is millions of dollars. And I'm sure, I guess he got paid for it beforehand, but he's never going to get any residuals from that, or any of the benefit of having that movie, And we can assume that it was probably pretty good work, since he'd gotten a lot of experience on his own show on FX, I think. He had a show running for a few years, a few seasons. Very successful. Got a bunch of Emmy nominations. Probably I don't know the details. Maybe he won some. I should have looked it up. Right? He probably won some prizes as well. But But good writing, good solid writing, good funny shows. And anyway, his future episodes are scrapped. So basically he's off everything. Like no major company will support any of his work. Is that a punishment? You know, some people say no because he's not getting punished. He's just not getting what he thought he would get. But if you ask me, that's a punishment. You know, if you suddenly told me I was not going to get, basically he was fired. That's a punishment. He's not getting future money from things that he thought he would get money from because he worked for it. He got fired and that's a punishment. Now, he's rich. That's the other argument. So he's not really suffering. Okay. So, I mean, you can always make that argument. Well, you know, you're still alive. You're not really suffering. You haven't been tortured. You're not really suffering. So he cheated on his wife and then he got divorced, but he's not really suffering. How much do you want a guy to suffer? I'm not defending what he did. Like Jerry Seinfeld said, it's a fuck. I don't understand it. It's a fucked up thing to ask somebody. Hey, I'm rich and famous. You admire me. Can I masturbate in front of you? Why would you do that? I don't get it at all. I remember when I was 21 having a intimate telephone call actually with my girlfriend about John F. Kennedy and telling her I didn't. This is when I knew we were going to break up. I mean, this conversation gave it away. I said, you know, I admired John F. Kennedy, but he cheated on his wife. And she was like, yeah, but he was president. So I thought, okay, we obviously have different values. So that's my point. I mean, you have to you have to choose which way you want to go on that. And that's the president. Now, Louis C.K., the other thing is Louis C.K. is a comedian. He's not the president. He's not the leader of the goddamn country. And you don't look towards him, generally speaking, for ethical guidelines. But he does appeal to a lot of people that way, including myself. I just finished telling you I thought he was a genius, right? For some of the views, he's a philosopher. Some of the views he has have been very insightful. Okay, so I'm not really saying anything yet. Hold on, I got something for you. Okay, so did he come back too early? I don't know. I'm thinking he should have said something. He should say. I would have been happy if he had come out and say, hey guys, I did this and I did that and I'm sorry. Like Tiger Woods did, because if you think about it, this is why I mentioned Tiger Woods early in the video. Tiger Woods fucked up royally. It came out that he was banging and I won't say banging because it seemed like that, like 15 girls at one time. One in every port, so to speak, in the golf world, I don't know what they say, but anyway, he was having a lot of sex with a lot of women, and he had a beautiful wife and two beautiful kids. And it came out that he was a real man whore. And what did he do? He came out in public and apologized to everybody. And it was cringy to watch. It was, oh my God, I just felt so... I don't want to say I felt bad for the guy. I just felt like, what an idiot. And he shouldn't have done that shit. But nobody wanted to watch that. So you basically saw the fall of a hero. Nobody wants to see that. So that happened. And then years went by and we saw Tiger Woods fall and hit the bottom and become nothing and go through operations and lose his status as a top golf pro. And now nobody really holds it against him anymore. I mean, now he's coming back and he's getting stronger and there's a chance that he might become relevant again. And people are kind of rooting for him. And I think that's the only way you could have really gone. I mean, that seems like a way to go. Louis C.K., he was famous and successful at the top of his game, and all this came out. And he said, okay, I'm just going to take a break for 8 months and then he come back. Now what he should have done was like make a public, cringe-worthy apology. And then disappear. And on top of that, he probably should have, you know, punished himself publicly by saying, I'm going to donate like $5 million to women's shelters or something. I don't know. But here's where we get into something else that I think is the most interesting part of this video. Believe it or not, if you've gotten this far, you'll be like, whoa, this is so boring so far. I can't believe he thinks any of this is interesting. No, so check this out. After this Me Too I said bullshit. After this Me Too bullshit movement started, because I want to say bullshit because a lot of it is bullshit. Not all of it. A lot of it is completely. I would say I'd support it. Except there's a big problem with it in that two things. One of them is Me Too does not give accused perpetrators a way of redeeming themselves. People like Ben Affleck, who 26 years ago or so, apparently hugged a girl, and when he went in for the hug, kind of squeezed her boob a little bit. It doesn't give people a way out. So then, well, actually, people kind of forgot about that, right? He apologized and it was done. However, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck's good friend, pointed out a very common sense opinion. He said, you know, it's a completely different. You cannot categorize people who grab someone's butt. You cannot put them in the same category. You cannot put people who grab someone's butt and rapists like Weinstein in the same category. And then his ex-co-star from the movie, I forgot, with Robin Williams. I forgot that name. The one they won the Academy Award for. Anyway. Oh, God damn it. I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember. Okay, anyway. So, Minnie Driver, who was in the movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. What was the name of that movie? Okay, so, she said, you cannot tell women how to feel about sexual harassment. And that basically made him shut the fuck up. And I thought, well, wow. I guess women, I'm not a woman, so I don't know. Do I have a right to say that? I don't know. I was kind of confused by all that. But I started thinking about that. It always bothered me. And then I mean, to be honest, I saw other people, I saw posts on Twitter point out the fact that it's common sense. It's just a common sense observation that people who grope other people and people who rape other people are in different categories. And again, Louis C.K. is in a different category. He asked a woman, can I masturbate, multiple women, can I masturbate in front of you? And they said no or yes. And then he did it. But that's completely different from forcibly raping someone, or even taking out your penis and masturbating into a potted plant, which is apparently what Weinstein did, which is even more fucking bizarre. There's a crow back there. I would think there'd be some like, I don't know, some animal groups or plant groups who would protect plants. Are there any groups who protect plants? Okay, well, here's where it gets kind of interesting. So, I saw this happen with Matt Damon getting rebuked for pointing out the obvious. And then I thought, you know, a little bit before, I want to say after, I'm pretty sure after that, he and Ben Affleck like donated a bunch of money to some group. I should have looked this up. God, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's correct. Some group supporting women's rights and combating women harassment, stuff like that. But here's the thing. He didn't say anything directly back to Minnie Driver. And then I started thinking about Mark Wahlberg and the Kevin Spacey situation, whether you know it or not. Let me explain it to you now. Kevin Spacey made a movie. He was in a movie. He didn't make a movie. He was in a movie. He's the cattle. He's the Alfred Hitchcock reference, by the way. He was in a movie called All the Money in the World. It was made. It was in the can, and then the Me Too movement bullshit hit him. No. In this case, completely not bullshit. Anyway, he was accused of sexual impropriety. And the director, who's actually an amazing director, I think he's behind all the Aliens, Ridley Scott. He decided to reshoot all the scenes with Kevin Spacey and replace him with another actor, whose name I can't remember, but he's a very reputable actor. And there were two other people who had to be involved in most of the reshoots. One of them was Mark Wahlberg, and one of them was, I don't remember her name. She's not nearly as famous as Mark Wahlberg, but here's the point. Mark Wahlberg had a clause in his contract that said that if you had to reshoot any of the videos, or any video clips for the movie, he would get like $2 million. And the woman who started alongside him did not have that clause in her contract. She had a different clause that said something like $100 a day or $1,000 a day. Anyway, it was a fraction of what he was getting. And of course, when this came out, social media went crazy, and Mark Wahlberg looked terrible. It looked like he was on the wrong side of the Me Too movement. So what ended up happening was he donated all of his money from his reshoots to some Me Too movement related faction, which to me sounded like a way of giving up. Let me explain how I see that. Mark Wahlberg did nothing wrong at all. He had a good manager and a good agent, and they made a contract that looked out for his ass. The woman who was involved in the same story and who got less pay did not have such an agent, and so she suffered. Or no, she didn't suffer. She just didn't have the same deal. They just had different deals. But when people compare them, they think they should be fair. But why? How should they be fair when they have completely different agents? It just doesn't make sense. It's not like they had the same agent. They're not being graded on the same material. It's not like school, you know. Anyway, but this is what got me thinking. Mark Wahlberg did nothing wrong at all, and he could have completely fight it, but he chose instead to just say, fuck it, I'm gonna give all my money, I don't want any trouble. And the thing is, as a man, I know why. I just realized why he did it, and this is the part that's going to piss off a lot of women. But a lot of men will understand. So let me just clear the table of everything and get to the point. When a man is confronted with a woman who is discussing some kind of sexual impropriety, because the man has a penis, he has no right. He knows he has no right to challenge her on that point simply because he will be accused of being unfair simply because he has that penis. That penis, what's the word? Damn, I forgot the English word. Strips him of his right to argue with that woman at all. If a man had made the same woman, the balance would be different, the stage would be different, the situation would be different. The accused man would feel more at home to argue against the other man accusing him of sexual impropriety. But because a woman is accusing him of sexual impropriety, the man has no choice because of society's values to just give up. And that is sexist. Let me say this again because I don't think I said it right. Okay, so here's the situation. Let me say it real. It's fucking simple as I can. Okay, so A woman accuses you of some fucking sexual thing that you think you didn't do, okay? Let's just make it really fucking simple, okay? So you say, nah, I didn't do that. And she goes, no, you did, but you don't understand because you got a penis. So because, and if everyone's watching, well, because that argument alone puts the man at a disadvantage, and the only thing he can do is give in and say, okay, well, if that's how you feel, I understand. And that's all he can do. Because if he were to challenge her opinion at all, he would simply be labeled as a bigot and a sexist, and that would be the end of it. So he has no choice but to give in. That's basically my argument. So when Matt Damon pointed out something very matter of fact, that fucking molesters and rapists are different categories, Minnie Driver said some shit and he had basically nowhere to go. Publicly, he could look like an asshole and argue against her, which is common sense, because what she was saying was not common sense, or he could just shut the fuck up, which is what he chose to do. Mark Wahlberg, same situation. He didn't do anything wrong at all. He could have said, hey guys, look, I had nothing to do with these money decisions. My agent we made the deal, months ago, before the movie was even shot. And my deal was, if I do any research, I get $2 million. And she didn't make that deal. I had nothing to do with her deal. I don't even know who her agent is, which is probably true. That's what he should have said. But because it's a woman, he decided, well, fuck it. I don't want any problems. I don't want to look like the bad guy. I'm just going to fucking give all my salary away. No one will give me any shit about it at all. Here's my argument. Every time a person accused of Me Too buckles and gives in and doesn't even contest the argument, they are being sexist against women, if they honestly believe that they have an argument. So if you accuse me of offending you sexually somehow, and I don't think I have, for me to argue my position alone, just arguing my position alone, is actually less sexist to you than for me to say, yeah, you're right, when I don't believe so. And I think that's what's happening a lot in the world. I think a lot of men, not necessarily myself, but I think a lot of us feel like we're put in a position where, you know what, and this is the sexist part, I can't argue with a woman, they're all fucking crazy, so the only thing you can do is just fucking bite the bullet and say, okay, honey, you're right, and not argue. And ironically, this is the fucking amazing part of the video. Ironically, this is so fucking sexist. So the men who are agreeing with you, most of them, they don't believe that shit. They just don't want to fucking pony up. They don't want to fucking argue with you because they think that most of you women are nuts. And there's no way to have a rational conversation about this. Yeah, some of that's the alcohol, but it's. I thought all this out before I started drinking. But that's the point. That's the point. So, as much as I am for women's rights, and I really am, I marched with women and helped organize back when I was in college to take women to DC to fight for women's rights so they can have abortions and things, and I completely respect all that, and I will stand up for all that, but there's some parts of this Me Too movement that just don't make sense and are fucked up. Back to Louis C.K. I'll lay it out very simply now. Yeah, I think he's a fucking weirdo for asking that, and I'm really disappointed in him because I looked up to him. So personally, I'm really just disappointed in Louis C.K. But at the same time, it's hard for me to. But I can't deny that a lot of the things that he has said have been very insightful and interesting and educational. And I think you could go a lot wronger by paying attention to someone else. And he has a lot of common sense in his he delivers a lot of common sense in his videos, in his stand-up. What he did with us, asking women to do that, that's just fucking weird. I think his life is pretty much ruined enough. I mean, he's got 2 daughters, I think. It's gonna come back. It's not like the daughters are not gonna know about that. That's gonna be amazingly embarrassing. What is interesting is that Louis C.K. though was one of the first comedians to ever bypass major media and sell his product, sell his live video on the air, on the internet. And if I remember correctly, he added a simple note. He said, "Hey guys, please don't pirate this video. Just, I'm only charging $15 for it. Please support me." And he made millions of dollars that way. So if anyone can survive without using Netflix and FX and all those major, media outlets, it's going to be Louis C.K. So that will be interesting to see how it plays out. And I'm very interested in seeing how that plays out. I'm sad to see Louis C.K. fall like this. I'm sad to see that he's such a weirdo. I mean, fuck. Dude, fuck, you're on top of the world of your game and you ask people to do that? What the fuck's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I really don't understand, but he has helped me, I guess, he has helped me, what's the word? Understand my own position on certain things that I couldn't verbalize as well as he could. And I guess that is the key to a good writer. Someone who can help you explain what you already believe in ways that you couldn't fully explain. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the fact that I picked this backdrop for this. It is a nice place, isn't it? Just for those of you, as we end the video, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to just let you see the whole area while we end the video. Check it out. It's a nice place, right? There's a crow just sitting there. Look at that. There's a crow just sitting there. Hope I'm shooting correctly. There's a crow just sitting right there. In the middle of the screen. Just hanging out. Okay. Anyway. So in case you fucking didn't catch it, I'm not defending Louis C.K. I'm just pointing out the fact that most of the people who give in to the Me Too movement are actually more sexist than the people who fight it. In a sense.